Well, Boris, you were talking about data observability and you talked about identity resolution. I was just wondering what you've kind of seen as like the next problem that might come up or the next thing that might need to be solved, like that people who might be watching this would want to get ahead of because you're seeing it more and more, and it's going to be the next like focal point for a data problem everyone needs to address.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I probably think about two things. Is my answer to this. One is the one we kind of alluded to, which is it's one thing to monitor your data for anomalies, but it's a different thing to just work on improving your company's trust in your data. And I think really the bar is going to start to shift from I don't have a dashboard or I don't have data to how much can I trust this data? And there are multiple ways in which data can be untrusted. One is that it's flat out wrong, like it's computed incorrectly, or it's generating humans that shouldn't be generated in the system, or any number of things. So like trying to catch that is where our team is going to spend a lot of our time trying to prevent those kinds of mistakes. And I think folks like Julie spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to test their data to do this. And I think that's going to continue to be a really, really important area that I think we're really just scratching the surface on. And there's another way in which data can be wrong, right? Which is that it's stale. And so the more data teams are in the critical path of the rest of the business, so I think this is the real shift, right? So if you think of this, the last couple of years is like getting data teams to have all the data, to be the arbiters of like what is true and what is valuable. And what Census is catalyzing, and broadly speaking, the data community is eagerly kind of jumping onto, is putting that data and those people in the midst of business operations, right? Directly in the critical path of things that are happening in the business. And the more you do that, the more latency of data is going to matter. The more people are going to be frustrated by stale data. And, I think Clearbit is relatively sophisticated on this front, relatively at the forefront of trying to push data to all the various business teams that is of high quality and low latency. But I think this is the really hard thing that people are going to try to solve in the next few years. So it's trying to think about how to have the combo of high quality data at high velocity. And that's a multi-piece system. So it's like a kind of an architectural problem. And, we do our part here, like in terms of being as low latency as possible in our system. Some of this is like on the data warehouses to improve. Some of this is on creating like different tracks. And so I think a lot of data teams are going to have to start thinking about this as people depend on them, is like, how do I provide this data even faster? And like, how do I think about SLAs in terms of time? And so I think that's what proactive teams should be thinking about, that is like, what is the latency of my data, and do I have different guarantees, expectations on it for different things?